Have you ever caught yourself putting on a mask just to fit in? Maybe you're smiling when you're tired, pretending to be confident when you feel insecure, or even achieving things for the applause of others instead of for your own growth. Today, we're diving into what happens when you stop performing for people and start living for yourself. We've all heard the phrase, fake it till you make it. But what if this constant performance is actually keeping us from true happiness? The world often encourages us to play roles, seek approval, and act according to societal scripts. But does this really lead to fulfillment? Here's the kicker. What if I told you that when you stop performing for others, you actually begin to live your most authentic, empowered life? It sounds counterintuitive, but I promise, it's the key to real success and peace. Look at some of the world's most successful and fulfilled people. They didn't get there by playing a role. They got there by shedding expectations and embracing their true selves. Think of people like Steve Jobs, Oprah, or even writers like Maya Angelou. They stopped performing, and that's when their true greatness emerged. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what performing for people really looks like in everyday life, how you can start showing up authentically, why it is matters the most. So if you're ready to break free from the exhausting cycle of performing for others, keep watching. So what performing for people really looks like. Performing isn't just about being on stage. It's when you filter yourself to be more palatable. When you say, I'm fine instead of I'm overwhelmed. When you post the perfect photo instead of the honest story. It's subtle. And that's what makes it dangerous. It becomes your default. Start paying attention to when your energy shifts in a conversation. Do you talk differently around certain people? Laugh at things you don't find funny? Wear clothes that aren't you just to fit in? These are micro performances. Little shapeshifts you do to avoid judgment or gain approval. Here's a small challenge. Pick one moment this week where you feel yourself performing and choose honesty instead. Speak your truth in a kind way. Let someone see the real emotion behind your words. You'll be surprised how freeing it feels. Because here's the truth. Every time you perform, you disconnect from your real self a little more. You become an actor in your own life. And slowly you forget who you even are underneath the applause. But when you stop performing, you don't lose people. You lose the wrong ones. And that clears space for the right ones to find you. That first point shows just how quietly this habit of performing sneaks into our lives. But knowing how it shows up isn't enough, because awareness without action just turns into guilt. So let's take it a step deeper. Let's talk about what happens when you stop performing and start showing up authentically. Now let's break this down into actionable steps. How do we start stepping off that stage and living authentically? It's like stepping into a new role that you've always wanted, but this time, the role is you. Here's how. Showing up authentically means letting the version of yourself that lives inside you finally step outside. Unfiltered, unmasked, unafraid. It's when your outer world starts to match your inner truth. You stop editing yourself to be more acceptable, and instead you start expressing what's actually real for you. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Authenticity is alignment. When what you think, what you feel, and what you do are all in sync, that's authenticity. It's not about being loud, bold, or dramatic. It's about being honest. Here's how you start showing up as your real self, without the need to impress, perform, or pretend. Number 1, start with micro moments. You don't need to announce your authenticity to the world. You start by being just a little more real in the small moments. Next time someone asks, "How are you?" Pause. Notice your instinct to say, "I'm good" or "all fine." Then ask yourself, is that the truth? Even if you're not ready to open up fully, saying something like, "I'm figuring some things out lately," or "Today's been weird but I'm moving through it," creates a gentle crack in the mask, and cracks let light in. Those micro moments add up. They build trust with yourself, because every time you tell the truth, you tell your nervous system, "Hey, I'm safe to be seen." Number 2, give your real opinion, even when it's different. We often shrink our thoughts to fit the room we're in, but authenticity means speaking with your own voice, even if it shakes a little. Here is an example. A group is hyped about a new trend, and you feel nothing. Say that. "Honestly, I'm not into it." You're not being difficult, you're being true. When you start doing this, you'll notice something wild. You begin trusting your own taste, your own lens, your intuition. That's not just honesty, that's identity. Number 3, honor your boundaries without apology. This is a big one. Saying no isn't rude. It's an act of self-respect. If a plan drains you, if a conversation crosses a line, if a task isn't aligned, you can opt out. Here's a simple phrase you can use. That doesn't work for me right now, but I appreciate you asking. You don't need to explain your whole life story. Your no is enough. Each time you honor your energy, you reinforce a powerful truth. Your time and well-being matter. And over time, you stop fearing people's reactions and start loving your own. Number 4, share what you usually hide. We all have parts of ourselves we lock in the attic. Insecurities, past mistakes, dreams that feel too big to say out loud. But authenticity invites you to dust them off and bring them into the light. The moment you let people see the real you, something surprising happens. They lean in, they relate, they open up too. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the secret password to human connection. Each of these is a tiny rebellion against the version of you that performs. But together, they help you build a life where you're not acting anymore. You're living with honesty, clarity, and peace. That point about showing up authentically was crucial. But here's where it really clicks into place. If you never drop the performance, you never meet the real version of yourself. And if you don't know who you are, how will you ever know what you truly want, what truly fulfills you, or what kind of life is actually yours to live? So why it matters the most? See, when you perform for people, you're building a beautiful house on borrowed land. The decorations might be nice, the neighbors might applaud, but deep down, you know it's not home. And anytime someone disapproves or pulls back their validation, it feels like an emotional eviction notice. But living authentically, that's like building on solid ground. Brick by brick, choice by choice. It might not be flashy, it might not get as many likes or nods right away, but it's yours and no one can take it from you. The bigger picture here isn't just about how you act on the outside, it's about reclaiming the energy you've spent trying to be liked, validated, or accepted. That energy, it belongs to your goals, your dreams, your healing. When you stop performing for people, you make room for the right people to find you. You start attracting situations, relationships, and opportunities that are aligned with the real you, not the version you thought you had to be. So why does this matter to you? Because this is the shift that changes everything. Your self-trust grows. Your decisions feel clearer. Your presence becomes more powerful. You stop chasing acceptance and start choosing your path. That's the real reward of showing up authentically. It's not just about being yourself. It's about finally becoming someone you recognize. And that's a life worth living. So let's bring it all together. You now know what performing for people really looks like in everyday life. It's not just being fake, it's the tiny ways we bend, shrink, and shift to please. You learned how to spot it by tuning into those quiet moments when your choices are driven by fear, not freedom, and most importantly, you've seen how to start showing up authentically by asking deeper questions, honoring your truth, and choosing presence over performance. Because let's be real, performing is exhausting. It leaves you burnt out, disconnected, and living a version of life that doesn't even feel like yours. But authenticity, that's where the energy comes back. That's where connection deepens. That's where life begins to feel real again. So if you've ever felt like you're playing a part just to be accepted, I want you to know you're not alone and you don't have to keep doing it. Start small, start honest, start now. And if this video sparks something in you, even just a flicker, subscribe for more videos like this. We're not here to perform, we're here to grow together.